Hey guys, Kristen here, sports dietitian, certified personal trainer, and owner of Elite Nutrition and Performance. So today we are talking about how to handle cravings. And I get this question all the time, how do I handle cravings? I crave sweets or I crave salty things. I just can't get over the cravings. What do I do? So we're going to talk about that today. So there's a lot of things that you need to do differently if you're having this problem. Number one, the most common reason why people are having food cravings is because they are just hungry. They just need to eat more. And so if you are having cravings on a regular basis, and let's say you just finished a meal and you're like, I want something sweet. A lot of times you probably just need to have eaten more of what you just ate. So this has happened to me before where I have eaten lunch or dinner and then I afterwards think like, oh, I could probably have some ice cream. And then I actually take a step back and I think about it a little bit more as to like, why do I want something sweet right now? And the fact is I'm just hungry. So I just go back and eat more of what I had for lunch or for dinner. And now I'm not as hungry anymore. And then I don't have that craving. So that is one possible reason why you could be craving sweets, whatever. So when you are craving sweets, generally what is happening is your body is looking for the quickest source of energy, and sweets are going to be the quickest source of energy. So if you're not eating enough, you don't have enough energy. If you're overly tired, if you're not sleeping enough, your body's going to crave sweets. It wants the quickest source of energy. So make sure that you're eating enough and also make sure that you're sleeping enough. If you are not getting a good 7+ hours of sleep a night and quality sleep a night, then that's a problem. It's going to make you cause you to crave sweets more. Craving sweets or, salty foods or whatever it is that you crave is also a habit. So if you are constantly eating, like I know a lot of people have, they call it a sweet cap. So just something sweet right after they finish a meal. And if you do that every single day, well, guess what? You have now trained your body and your taste buds to want that little sweet something or other after you have a meal. So if you're doing that every single day, you really need to break that habit. It really depends on how much that you're having. So if you do want something sweet and you just had like a small dark chocolate square, that's really not that big of a deal. But if you, let's say, just finished lunch and now you need to have like a giant cookie in order to satisfy your craving, obviously that's not a good thing. So you really need to try to break that habit. And so really cutting back on how often that you're doing that. So it might be cutting back on the frequency that you're doing it, or it also might be cutting back on the amount that you're having. So instead of having a giant cookie, maybe you're having, half of a cookie and then kind of breaking it down from there. If you are always eating just because you see food, like you see food and then you're craving it, it's because you're just seeing the food, and it's a lot easier to change your environment than it is to have willpower. So in that case, if there's something that you have all the time that you just can't stop eating, I used to have this problem with pita chips. I just stopped buying pita chips and don't have it in my house anymore, so that's the much easier thing to do than to say, okay, I'm not going to eat those pita chips. So if you know that there's something that you just have to have and you can't control yourself around it, then just don't have it in your house. And if you feel like you have a really strong craving for whatever that thing is and you have to have it and you're going to go out of your way, drive to the store to go get those pita chips, then go ahead and have those pita chips. But you see, it's going to cut down on how much that you're having. I also mentioned, or I didn't mention yet, thirst. If you're dehydrated, then that can cause you to have cravings as well. So you need to make sure that you're drinking at least half of your body weight in ounces of fluid per day. And that can also just make you feel hungry, because if you're dehydrated, then we feel hungry. And so we wind up overeating then. So make sure that you are drinking at least half of your body weight in ounces of fluid. So if you weigh 100 pounds, then you need to be drinking 50 ounces of water per day. If you weigh 200 pounds, you need to be drinking 100 ounces, which is pretty close to a gallon, which is 128 ounces is a gallon. So the last thing that I wanted to touch on is stress. So I know a lot of people wind up craving things when they are stressed. And obviously we know that that's something that you need to cut down on. The very simple thing that you can do when you are in the moment and you are really stressed out is taking 10 deep breaths. which sounds very cheesy and it sounds like it wouldn't work, but I promise you it does work, and there's a ton of research to back it up. So just taking 10 deep breaths rather than just going straight to whatever food that you can find is really going to help to de-stress you and then not cause you to lean on the food. So let's kind of recap here. So make sure that you're drinking at least half of your body weight in ounces of fluid per day. You are de-stressing, which you really should be doing something on a regular basis to de-stress, but in the moment, take those 10 deep breaths. Make sure that you're getting plenty of sleep, so at least 7 hours of sleep. Make sure that if it's a habit, you're cutting back on what you are doing. And one thing I will say about that habit is if you are doing a lot of artificial sweeteners are hundreds of times sweeter than real sugar. So it can actually cause you to crave sugar more. Or if you had something sweet, it's not going to make you, it's not going to satisfy you as much. So making sure that you're cutting out the habit. And then also make sure that you're eating enough throughout the day. So if you need help with any of these things, I am happy to help you, especially with figuring out what you need to be eating on a regular basis. I do this all the time, and I would be lying if I said that not the majority of my clients ask about this, how to deal with cravings. So like I said, if you need help, send me a private message. I'm happy to help you with that. And thanks for watching. Have a good rest of the day. Bye.